So I made the changes. So this is a module 3. I had a last second cancellation, so I am able to finish it. So we're just gonna have videos right back to back with each other. So sorry about splitting it, but the way I see it, at least it gives you guys like a nice stopping point if you guys are tired of hearing me talk. So let's continue on. We're gonna be talking about rotating objects. So we want a how to create a cone and a cylinder. So we're going to be talking about rotating this, and this one is actually kind of difficult to understand. So what it's asking us is it wants us to make a cone with a shape. So what I'm going to do here is I need to make a shape here, and here's the thing. We need to kind of think about this. We're trying to make a 2D shape or a 3D shape with a 2D object. So if you're thinking about a cone, we're going to think about it being rotated around. So we can think about it multiple ways. We can think about either, since we're talking about a cone, it can be a 90-degree angle thing rotated about 360 degrees. And I think this is an important task for it to do. However, I think this is very difficult to explain using these tools because there's no one walking you through it. And even I'm having difficult understanding how they wish for us to use these tools. So I'm going to try my best to explain it. I know the answers, however, I really want you guys to be able to adapt to the technology. So let's take a look here and see if we can't figure this out. So we want how many vertices? Well, because we're dealing with a triangle, we want 3 vertices. So let's do 3 vertices. Next, we're going to want to move this triangle. So what I'm going to do is, let's see here. How do I move this triangle? Oops, I definitely do not want to do that. So we can, looks like we can do a couple things with it. Okay. Uh, New polygon. Okay, so we're gonna make this, and oof, I feel like they give you a little too much creative freedom with this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna want to put one here and the other one somewhere else. So point 2, we're gonna do at -6 and 0. Okay, so I don't know why -6 and we want point 0. Not sure what's going on here. I assumed we were talking about the points, and let's do 0 and 6. Oh, 0 and 6. All right, so let's see if that works. All right. Oh, I see what's going on here. 0. Let's do 0 and 12. That'll make it a little bit better. Perfect. So this is a equilateral triangle. I messed up in thinking like, oh, this is 6, this should be 6 too, but this whole thing is 12, so we want this. So this is an isosceles triangle because it would take me a while to figure out how to make these 12. So I didn't want to go through that, so we're going to do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it. We're going to rotate this only 180 degrees. So let's rotate it. Oh, that's not what I thought it would do by rotating it. I wanted to rotate it around 180 degrees. So where is the reset view? Let's see what's happening here. I honestly might not use this tool if it's going to be go. Okay, so we have these. I don't believe this ever explains how to do it. Okay, to specify the polygon, you want to rotate number of sides. Okay, we did that. Click go, enter the coordinates. We did that. and press graph to plot the new polygon. We did that. Then build an equation of the line which you want to rotate your polygon. Once the equation is established, click resolve. Rotation 3D space. So hold on. Resolve and observe how the 3D space. So they want us to make an entire equation on this. We're not going to do this. I honestly believe that they are expecting way too much of you. This would honestly take me a while to do. So what we're going to do instead of doing this is we're just going to think about it. All right. So there's two ways to think about this. Way number one is we have a cone. As I mentioned before, we can think of this cone as an isosceles triangle. And if we rotate it about a point, if we go from here to here, that's rotating 180 degrees. That gets the front part of the cone. And if this other one is simultaneously at the same time going to go this way, completing the cone. So what I'm going to rotate is I'm going to rotate an isosceles triangle 180 degrees. And that's going to be over the y-axis. Over the y-axis. I'm not sure if it needs me to specify, but this is how you rotate a shape. And I really wish I could have shown you using this. However, I feel it's going to take longer to explain this than it would actually solving it. Because this doesn't tell us how many degrees we get to resolve it by. It doesn't tell us a whole lot, to be honest. So I rather us just talk about it regularly than use this tool that isn't specified. The other way to think of a cone, let me erase this one, is how I mentioned it before, where we only have half of this said cone. But if we only have half of the cone, we can't just rotate it 180 degrees and be done with it. We're going to have to do the other half. So that means we have to rotate it 360 degrees. So the other way of doing it is a right triangle where we're rotating it 360 degrees over the y-axis again. We're mainly going to be doing the y-axis just to make things easier. All right, so now let's think of a cylinder. So this is one of the few activities that I feel is easier to kind of do in your head than the tool that they give us. The tool that they give us, unfortunately, is really bad. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a cylinder. So a cylinder is a circle, right? But remember what we saw when we did the cross section going vertically? It was a rectangle. So if we cut this, we had this rectangle down the middle. So down the middle, we see a rectangle. So if we do that, we can rotate this rectangle 180 degrees and 180 degrees, and it'll complete our full cylinder. This side will complete one side, the other side will complete the other. So we're going to say rectangle. And we might as well just copy and paste this because it's the same type of rotation over the same axis. The other way of doing it is, what if we only rotated this? What if we rotated this whole rectangle 360 degrees? Well, if we rotated 360 degrees, it would go here and here. So it'll still be that, it just kind of doubles up. Or you can think about it as this is our axis of rotation, and this goes around until it touches itself again. So a rectangle, also we can argue the same thing about this isosceles triangle, but the minimum we have to spin is that. And if we change the axis of rotation, so this one's going to be this one. And instead of it being y, I'm going to say over one of the sides of the rectangle, just to be a little more specific. All right. And I guess technically we could say that about this, but I think this should be good enough. Let's see how this compares to what they want. Over the height. Okay, so they're a lot more specific about one of the legs, one of the axis of symmetry. Okay, so I see what they're doing here. They want us to say where they want us to rotate. So that's clearly a lot better than what I was doing. So you can change your answers, but I was assuming that this was already centered. All right, experiment with the different types of polygons. So we're going to experiment with some more, see if we can do some more. We're going to experiment with a triangle to the hexagon, that, axis of symmetry. Try to create unusual shapes of rotations. This just think of something. So I'm gonna say, I don't know. I'm gonna say a circle. I'm gonna say axis of rotation would be 360, or let's do 180, about the center. The center. So if I do this, and what I mean by about the center is, here's the center of the circle. This has to go 180 degrees this way. It also has to go 180 degrees the other way, so on and so forth. So this will make a spear. Because I made it a single point and not a line, it's going to end up making a spear. All right, so let's think of another shape to do. Let's try. We already did square, rectangle. I'm trying to think here. Pentagon. Oh, it said different types of polygons. So technically, uh, and unfortunately, since the thing's not working, I can't. Well, let's try this one. Let's try this diamond, and let's mess with this. We weren't able to use it for the specific questions, but let's try doing this. Um, let's resolve it. So this is very interesting. However, I'm starting to see what it means by this. Okay, so we did a diamond. I see. Let's do this. Let's resolve this. Okay, cool. So if we do this, let's try making it. Okay, so this is starting to make a lot more sense. Um, Now it's telling us what line do we want to rotate it around. Okay, I wish they would have done that better. Let's see, wireframe. Wireframe, we can see all the shapes. Perfect. So for this one, what we're going to do here is we're just going to say a diamond. Diamond. And we're going to say 360 degrees. 360 degrees about center. And for this, we're going to get, I guess we can describe it kind of like a top. Uh, top. Or I could say rounded diamond. Let's say rounded diamond. I honestly don't know. So, well, we at least were able to kind of figure out how to do this. I feel it was way too specific, and they gave us a little too much control over things to try to figure this out. And they're talking about all this other stuff too. All right, so if the tool allowed it, would you go about drawing a spear? So this is the part that I don't understand. Oh, how would you go about drawing a spear? Um, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to draw a spear. Oh, you would have to. The reason why you wouldn't is because you have to do little points. So, I would just say make a circle and rotate it 360 degrees. So this is why they were talking about a polygon in the first one. Um, rotate it 360 degrees. Evaluation. I'm going to give myself a 3. Maybe even I'm giving myself a 2. I did not understand how to use the tool until the very end after I submitted the um, problems. So moving on. All right, so we have a right triangle rotated about the axis, so right here, and we discussed that this would make a cone. So when we rotate around, it'll make a cone. And then summary. So 3D shapes are very interesting with cross sections and rotations. So just kind of try to picture them in your brain whenever you're trying to work with these types of shapes. You can refer to this video. I know I didn't use the tool that much, but a lot of this has to do with kind of just imagining shapes rotating and things like that. So hopefully this video helps. I will do module 2. Like I said, it might have been a little confusing if you were working on these at the beginning when I labeled them module 2, even though they're module 3. But I hope you guys have a great day.